help, right? Okay. So when you click on this help, ideally it gives you this pop-up, which will tell you, documentation help in case if you want to go through the, documentation for offerings or anything, you can just click on this and it takes you to the documentation page. Okay, it takes you to the page like this. All right. This is the documentation. Again, you can download this from docs.org or you can just go to this and click on the help icon and it displays the documentation. Now, on my left side, whatever you see, these are all my functional areas. Anything that you see star is a mandatory, which means you need to make sure you set up that task or functional area. This functional area is a combination or it contains a bunch of tasks. On my left side, you see the functional area. On the right side, you see a task. When I click on this, all tasks, it displays all tasks that are related to initial users. Whatever you are seeing, right? These are the tasks. But again, not everything is mandatory, but anything that is mandatory will display under required task, which you need to do this one. Now you see something called a shade, which means the same functional area will be available in different offerings also. It can be available in different offerings. So when you click on this, let's say if I click on this shade, it displays in which functional area it is available. Clear? Where it is displayed in the offerings. All right. Now, this is all about your offerings. Now, when you click on this actions, go to offerings, depends upon the business requirements, you're going to enable some options. Okay. Now make sure in case if you're implementing procurement, then you enable the status as enabled. Then only you can do the configurations. Now here you'll see all other offerings. In case if you're implementing inventory or manufacturing, then you click on this one. If you're implementing order management, then you click this one. Okay, or product management, you click this. So these are all your offerings, what you see here. Right? Now here on my right side, you see, let's say if I open this product management, sorry, procurement. Now here you see procurement and the status, and here you see associated features, setup task, and related objects and everything. Now, setup task and list. When you click on this, you have three options: PDF, HTML, and Excel. When I click on this Excel, what it does is it displays the task in a format what you've selected, which means it displays all the tasks for this procurement. Okay, so let me open this. So this PDF while it is loading, right? So what you can see here is new features and upgrade features also, right? Now let me talk about new features. Correct. Let me go to right setup task. Okay, now this ideally displays this. So while this is still downloading, new features ideally this will give you all the features which are currently available. Okay, you can see this is currently we are in 24D. This will tell you or this will give you a report in which you can export in Excel format, which gives you what is new features, what is available features, what is future updates, so that you can prepare for future releases. All right. I click on this done. It's done. Now, this is all about your procurement offering. But again, I just want to cover something else. Now, apart from this, you also have something called as options, which means now if the customer is looking for implementing supplier portal, sourcing, or SSP, self-service procurement, then he has to enable that options, or else you cannot configure the applications. All right. This is a demo part, so it's taking a while. Let me close this. Now, what exactly settlement metrics will do? Apart from this, enabling the offering and the options, you can also do the configuration. This is where you come and do all the configurations. All right. Now, in case if you want to do the configuration, ideally you can do this. Just open This is called as a task. This is my functional area. Under that, you have a task. Now, when you click on this, ideally it takes you to the task page and you can perform the task. Okay, this is the task. Now, this functional area, function setup manager, right? You can do the bulk upload, which means in case if you have a bulk data, rather than doing manually, what you can do, you can export the data and you can import this data. So when you say when it's export and import, you when you export it's a zip file, enter the data and you upload back the zip file. Then system will load the data into the application. This is called as a bulk upload feature, which is available in function setup manager cloud. All right. Not only this, you can upload the entire functional area if you want, or you can also compare the configuration. Let's say you have a scenario, you have created a setup. That setup has 10 records. Now, let's say, for example, you have different pods. Let me give an example from here. All right. All right. This is one pod, and this is one more pod. Environment, basically. Pod is nothing but environment. Here you have inventory organizations, or you have, let's say, for example, let's just 10 records here. And this is a new pod where there are records existing. 15 records exist. We don't know which of them, but let's say, for example, now when you're migrating this 10 to 15, first of all, you want to understand what are the 10 that are available and what are the discrepancies in the records. So before even loading, what you can do, you can do the comparison. Then when you do the comparison, system will tell what is existing, what exists, and what are the discrepancies, so that you can prepare the load. Okay. So before even loading, system will give you a report which tells you this is the data which already exists, and there's a data which has some discrepancies or changes for the same. Okay. This you can do using function setup manager. All right. Right. So I'll quickly go to the user management. Again, there are a lot of things that you can do in FSM apart from setups, bulk load, reports, and everything. All right. Now, next one is users. Now I go to tools, and your second we call a security console. Any ERP product will have an administrator who will control who is going to create transaction, who can access what. Okay, who can access what, right? Now, this is a landing page for IT security console, which ideally helps you to create roles and give access roles to the users and create users also, or manage all the users. All right. Now, if you just want to see here, right? Let's say, for example, I want to see warehouse manager. Okay, this is a role, basically, warehouse manager role. Now, this role will have a bunch of options, what this role can do, which means now using this role, what I can do in case if I have a role. Basically, it will allow me to perform inventory transactions, review the, quantities, review the transactions and everything. These are called as privileges. A role will have a privileges and a security that will control what you can see and what you can do at what level, right? Now, in case if you want to create a new role, you can still do this one. If you want to compare two roles, what you can do, you can still do this one from here. Let's say my requirement is I want to compare two roles. So I'll just select warehouse manager. And here I'm going to select warehouse operator. Right, click on compare. When I click on this compare, what system will do? It will give me the difference between these two roles. Okay, this is my warehouse manager, this is my roles. Okay, now it displays everything, but in case if you want to see what is available in both, you can just select this option. Okay, you can see these options, right? So what is available in the first role, what is not available in the second role, you can just play around with this one. This gives you, an overview what is the difference between these two roles. You can also export this data in case if you want. The next one is users. This is where you create your users. Okay, you can create user manually or you can create users using spreadsheets also, right? Say for example, this is my user, let's say. Okay, this is my user. Now this user has got, username, first name, last name, email ID, and employee information, who is the manager, okay, and everything. Now this is my user information, and down below it shows the roles. Okay. Now what this user can perform in the application will depend based on the rules. In case if this user is a procurement manager or is doing the procurement functions, then you'll give will give the access to procurement. Or if he's managing users, then we'll give the IT security. Okay. Now there are two kinds of user: implementation user and a business user. Okay. Now implementation user is a consultant, right? Now, in case if you want to compare two different users, you can still do this one using compare users. All right. So I'll not touch base these. These are some additional features what you can do at the IT security console, like notifications and admin related. But I'm going to focus only on roles and users. Right. Now, next I want to cover inventory. Sorry, PIM, which is nothing but item management. So now product management. Okay. Now, in case if you're implementing items, right, so this is where you go to item management. Okay, now I'm going to show you how items are created, but again, as part of the implementation process, there are a lot of prerequisites that are available that you need to perform. Okay, so if we go to product management, so this is where you configure related to items, which means you create the item classes, units of measurement, and item templates and everything. Okay, so which is part of your configurations. Now here you come to the screen to create items, product information management. Now, if you want to create an item, what you can do, just click on create item. Okay. Now you select the item master. Right. Now you can create item using manual process, or you can use a spreadsheet mechanism. Right. Now here you can select number of items. In case if you want to create more than one, basically you enter the number of items and it displays the count, no, displays the records. Now this is a template. Rather than entering manually, what you want the system to default few values, right? So you can use this template and system displays values based on the template, right? So I can enter the item 1, 2, 3, 18. All right. So here you can select the item status, life cycle phase, and enter the long description, units of measurement. Now here you have specifications of the item, which means what is the nature of the item. Is it an inventory item? Is it a make item? Or is it a sellable item? Is it a procurement item? Or do you want to plan this item? All these attributes will control what you can do with the transactions. In case if you want to sell this item or place this item on your order, sales order, then make sure this item is enabled for customer order enabled. If you want the customers to return the product, so make sure that this item is returnable. Okay, so all these controls are available here. Based on these controls, item control system will display or allow you to perform certain transaction in the system. Right? In case if you want to buy this item from suppliers, what you can do, you can enable this option, purchasable items, and it allows you to place this item on the purchase order, or else you cannot see these items on the purchase order. Okay, same thing with the planning. In case if you want to enable this item for planning, you can enable these attributes and system will display these in planning. Okay, these are called as specifications or attributes of the item. Now you also have a bunch of other options what you can do at the item level. In case if you have this, if you consider this as a finished good, and if you want to have some sort of item structures, you can do this one, which is nothing but a BOM, bill of materials. Okay. Then associations is nothing but if you want to assign this item to different inventory organizations, basically you can do this one. Okay. Now you have something called as relationships. What relationships will do, in case if you want to capture additional information, probably, third party reference number or trading part numbers. It can be a supplier number, it can be customer ID number, manufacturer item number. You can capture this information here. Or it can be, if you have any substitute items, you can still, enable those and you can capture that information. Categories is nothing but items which have same features or characteristics, then you can capture that information here. All right. Now I click on the save, and what system will do? It will save the record or save this specific item that I've entered. Correct. Let's save close. Now this item is saved. Okay. In case if you want to search the item again, click on this manage items and search this, and it displays the record like this. Okay. Now, in case if you have images, probably then you can show these images. If you don't have images, it doesn't display anything. At this home, it can display items. Now, you create items manually, and you can create items using spreadsheets. I'm going to show you that strategy how to do this one, but we are not going to load the items using spreadsheet. But I'm just going to show you the uh, process. Okay. Now, apart from this creation items, you also have something called as new item request. It's a concept which is available. What it does is, in case if you have a requirement where you have a company that does a new item request, new items launching or ideation process, which starts with ideation. It goes through approval process, create item, then it goes through approvals. Okay, where each department will enter specifications of the item, and then item is approved. If you have a similar kind of requirement, then you can do this using new item request. What this will do, this functionality, this will allow you to create an item using bunch of process. Okay, which means, let's say for example, you have different parts, procurement department, sales department, and production department. All these departments are there. Now, each department will enter its own attributes. They enter their own attributes. Then first procurement team enters, then it goes to sales, then it goes to procurement, production. Then finally it goes to the product management. They'll review. Then it goes for the approval process. Then the item is created for usage. If you have similar kind of requirement, then use new item request. Or if you want the system to generate item number, you can also do this one, which means all my electronics should start with EC. All my fashion items or apparel should start with F, FS. You can still do this one. There are a lot of things like, you can create your item number manually, or you can create item number using system generated number. That too, you're using a condition starting with prefix or suffix based on item types. You can do this one. All right. Now, you also have a change order process in case if someone changes anything at the item level. You want to send this for an approval process. That approval process is also available, which is called a change order. Okay. Now, items, you can control who can view information, who can access information. That is also control, which is nothing but item security, which is available. Only procurement team should see or update specifications related to procurement. You can still do this on using a security feature which is available. All right. Now, I'll go to inventory. Supply chain execution, then inventory, right? So I click on this inventory management. Now, what this inventory management will do, it will allow you to perform all your inventory transactions in a warehouse. It allows you to review the transactions. It gives you an option to, check the quantities and perform, transactions between a warehouse, within the warehouse, okay, or across the warehouses. All right. And you can also check the, reservations and everything. All right. Now, in case if you want to check the stock, all you can do, just click on this manage item quantities and click on the search, or I'll I'll enter the warehouse. Okay, 001. I click on the search. Now, what system will do? It will display stock which is available in this specific warehouse. Okay. So in cloud or in Oracle, it is called as inventory organization. So in reality, it is a warehouse. Okay. Now you can see I queried using an Oracle warehouse and it displays all the items that are available. Now currently I have 120 stock and this is available in this warehouse. And you have something called as sub inventories and locators. Sub inventory is nothing but it's a partition where you actually store the quantities or the items, right? Now this item is available in multiple locations within the warehouse. Okay, this shows where the stock is available. This is where you can check the stock. Okay, this is nothing but the position of the quantity of the specific item. Then you can see if item is a lot control item, serial control item, then it displays the information here. Okay, this is where you can check the stock of the items. Now you have something called as miscellaneous transactions. Now this will allow you to perform inventory adjustments. Okay, now you also have sub inventories, transfers, and inter transfer to move the material from one location to the other locations. Now review completed transactions ideally gives you the summary. What are all the transactions that you did in the warehouse? And you can search based on the dates, items, or okay, a date range. You can also search basically. I'll just put this as okay. I'll just enter the date. Now using this search criteria, you can search the transaction. So this displays all the records that are all the transactions that are performed in this specific warehouse in this transaction date. Okay. Now, if you want, you can also export this data. Now, what it is showing me here, these are all the transactions that are performed in this warehouse for this item information. You can see. Okay, and it will tell me what is the source, what is the transaction, what is the quantity, what is the date, everything. All right. Now, anything that you perform an inventory transaction that will display here. All right. Now, there is something called as a transfer order concept, which allows you to move the material from one location to the other location using a documentation purpose. All right. Using a documentation. Then you can also do the counts, which is nothing but a cycle count and a physical inventory. Cycle count is a concept of counting items periodically, depends upon the nature of the items or the item that you have selected. Probably, you have 100 items, but your requirement is you want to count only specific items because of their usage or because of the value or any other criteria. So you select only those items and you start counting those items periodically. Okay, then system displays what is in the system and what is on the shelf, and you can compare these two, and then you can understand if there is a discrepancy, and if there is a discrepancy, why is there a discrepancy, and you adjust the inventory. Right? Then you have something called as physical inventory. Physical inventory is nothing but counting every item in the warehouse, irrespective of the nature of the item. Okay, you want to count everything, and during this process, you shut down the warehouse and you don't do any other transactions. Okay, now physical inventory is done once a year. It is not periodical, and this will give you overview of what is available in the system, what is on the shelf, and again, any discrepancy you can adjust on. Okay, this is based on the tax. Now you have shipments. This ideally helps you to do the fulfillment of orders, customer orders, okay, where you can pick the orders, confirm the orders, and perform the shipments. So anything, let's say if you have an order that is currently, I don't see any orders, but again, this page will give you an overview of what are all the orders that are available for shipment or which is already there. You can now let me do one thing. Okay. This is a infolet page. This is a landing page for inventory, which gives you an overset of data in the graphs. Now let me open this one. Awaiting packing. Awaiting ship confirm. Let me just open this one. When you click on this infolet or the graph, ideally what it does, it ideally takes me to the page where it has data. So let me open this again. Okay, now see this. Now this is one record, okay, which ideally, waiting for no shipment process. which is like a staged order. This is sales order number, the sales order number, this is sales order, this is an item, and you can see the quantities and everything from here. So this is where you can navigate to the shipment line and you can ship it. Okay. Alright. Let me go back to the home page. Now you have something called as the receipts. The receipt is nothing but anything that you are receiving into the warehouse. It can be, purchase order receipt or returns that you get from the customers or any transfers that you're getting from your inventory organizations or different warehouses. This is where you perform all your receiving transactions. Okay. And in case, again, you're a process where you just want to create the receipt or you want to do the inspection. Okay. So depends upon the business process, you perform all the steps. In case if you have requirement when you want to do the quality inspection, you can still do this one. Okay. And if you want to return the product to the supplier, let's assume, or to the internal location, you can still do this using a returns. Okay, returning the products to the supplier or your internal locations. Okay. And in case if you want to review the inventory transactions, whatever you have received, you have to go back to the review completed transactions. Right? This is all about your inventory. Okay. Now, what you're seeing is in terms of transactions, which a business user will perform. But as part of the consultant, what you do, you come to the screen, function setup manager, and you perform all these setups that are required, which are for inventory management. So now you see you have to create a warehouse, you have to create a locations, you have to create a sub inventories, locators, transaction types, everything that you have to create so that business users can perform the transactions. All right. So this is part of your this is consultant role, and what you're seeing is a business unit who is going to perform the transactions. All right. Now, let me go to procurement now. Yeah, in the interest of time, I'll just quickly cover this. Procurement now depends upon the business requirement. Let's say, for example, I'll give you a scenario. Now, you have a company ABC. Okay. Now, what they do, they actually buy products from suppliers, different suppliers. Okay. And they buy the products from suppliers, and each supplier sometimes they have agreements. Okay, basically agreement is nothing but it's a legal document which ideally shows the terms and condition between a buying party and the supplier, where they agree for the terms of what they are going to what the buying company is going to buy at what rate and what items are supplies. Okay, now this is one thing. Then purchase orders. Okay. Now, this company, ABC company, also have different locations where there are different employees available. They also create internal requests for requirements of products or services. Okay. Now, sometimes they also perform, bidding process. In case if they want to buy some new product, what they'll do, they call suppliers and invite them and start bidding or negotiations about the products and services. Okay. Or sometimes they want to directly talk to the suppliers using online portals, online competitions, online competitions. Right. Now, what are all these? These are all different functions which are available in procurement functions in the business. So they are buying, they are also requesting material internally, and they're also talking to customers, sorry, suppliers, communication basically. And they're also doing negotiations or sourcing process. Now, this is what if the customer is looking at or the company is looking at, then ideally you have to implement self-service. I'm just writing it. This is called as self-service procurement, where you create a requisitions. That requisitions are converted to purchase orders, where you can have an option to create requests using catalogs or manual. Then you have purchase orders, which is purchasing. Target supplier order in case if the company is looking to collaborate, communicate online, then you have something called a supplier portal. Negotiation, this is called a sourcing. So you have depends upon the business requirements, you're going to improve all these modules in a system. Okay. Now, in this training, what we are going to show is self-service procurement, sourcing, supplier portal, as well as purchasing model. Right? Now, this is where you create your request. Now, this is called as requisitions page, and this is the home page for self-service. In case if you want to create a in case if you want to create a request, ideally go to the shop category, and basically you can click on this one of the catalog. These are like catalogs what you see in Amazon or any other e-commerce portals where you can okay, where you can see a catalogs and you can browse those catalogs to find the products. Here also you can have that option. So which means you can search the catalogs and using the catalogs, what you can do, you can still, if you want to buy something, you can buy. In case if you want to compare two different products, you can still compare. Okay, now let's assume I just want to see at compare. See, it displays here. Now I click on this add to compare to Chrome. Now I click on this compare. What system will do? It will just give me the information about the two different products like this, side by side. Okay, it shows me the product price and categories and supplier. What is the supplier name, brand? Okay, price breaks. Okay, agreement. These are some of the differences what it shows between these two products. If you want, basically you can select the fields or click on this tab. Right? Now this is a page where you can search the products, and if you want to place an order or a request, basically this is not a purchase order screen. This is a request screen where a company employee wants to place a request. So that request will go through an approval process. Again, in procurement, you have different kinds of approval where you can do based on the job or position or job level or custom. You can create any rules so that in case if you want to send this request for an upload process, you can still do this. Okay, you can click on this add, and system will add this product to the cart. Okay, let me add just one item. I just click on this add cart. What system will do? It will add this item to the cart. Add this item to the cart, and you can review the item, and then you can place the request. Okay, click on this review. Correct. Now you can review this item and you can submit for approval process. Now, depends upon the business requirement. You will create approvals. It can be, auto approve, or it goes to the next level for approval process, which is part of a configuration that you do. Okay. This is your self-service where you can, an employee can request for the material or services and submit them for approval. All right. So now, again, there are different options how you can create a request. It can be manually, you can go to the catalogs, or you can go from here. In case if you don't have the item, then or a service, you can click on this one of the options and you can do this one, which is nothing but a non-catalog items, which is not available in the catalog. All right. Now let me go to the again. You can do the automation, which means seamless purchase order creation and automation, which means the moment the request is created, submitted, purchase order can be created, approved, everything can be seamless automated process. You don't need any buyer intervention. This is called as touchless buying process, which you can configure in purchasing. Next one is purchasing, where you can. So next one is purchase orders. Purchase order is a legal document that you send to the supplier that you agree to pay for the items or services that you're buying based on the agreement. Okay. Now here you have an option. This is the landing page of purchase order where you can see orders that are required attention or orders in pending or open in schedules and everything. Okay. Now I click on this manage orders. Only an authorized person who is called as a buyer or an agent then can view the data. So I click on this search. If there is not available, I click on this advanced. Start with. All right, these are all my purchase orders. Okay, now you can see some of them are incomplete, and some of them are open, some of them closed for receiving. All right, now these are all the purchase order. If I open this supplier purchase order, let's say. You can create a purchase order manually, or you can create a purchase order using the requisitions. Right? Now, this will show the header information, which is nothing but who is the supplier, what is the date, what's the amount, and down below you'll see the item information, what you're buying, quantities, price, and when do you need the product. And here you can see the view details, which shows the life cycle of the purchase order, how much is ordered, how much is received, and invoiced and everything. So shipment information, receipt information, invoice information, everything is shown in one page, single glance, where you can understand the life cycle of a purchase order. All right. Right. Again, you have negotiations and sourcing, which ideally helps you to do the sourcing process, where you can send an invite and suppliers can come and they can enter the information, and based on that you analyze the code, sourcing process, and you can award the process. Okay. Looks like we are almost there. So quickly, I'm going to touch base on the data conversion process. Data conversion process in Oracle is quite simple. You go to docstar.oracle.com. In case if you want to load items or inventories or purchase order, all you can do POFA. There is something called as purchase order import. So which means rather than entering the data manually, or in case if you have a bulk data that you want to load, all you can do, you can come to this docs.oracle.com and find the template that you want to do. If you want loading purchase orders or items in inventory, find that specific template and download the template. Okay. If you see this is a template, right? Now what this will do, this will allow you to enter the data. So which means this is a template where you enter all the data in the Excel sheets. All right, this is an Excel sheet and you enter the data in these files. Basically, purchase order contains header information, line information, location information, and distribution information. You enter all this data, and what you do, you create a zip file. Okay, you create a zip file and upload it to the applications. All right. So make sure all the prerequisites are there, like supplier are there, supplier is there, item is there, buyers are there, unit of measurement is there, locations are there. All these configurations should be in place before loading the data. So you enter this information and so enter data in template, which is called as FBDA, file-based data import. Okay. Then generate CSV and upload to cloud and load data. Then import. That's it. And data will be loaded in applications. Again, in case if you have the data, which you think right, which is out right, or which is clean data, then it loads the data. Or if there are any errors, it will be available in the errors tables. Right. Now, what happens here when you run the data? Now, generate CSV, upload the data to CSV, load data. When you say load data, it directly So in this scenario, what it will do, it will take the file and from local machine to cloud server. First thing, when you load the data, this takes file and moves to or host of interface table. When you run the import, takes records from interface and loads to base table. This is where you can see the data once this is loaded in the UI. Till then, if it is an error, it will be available in the interfaces. Okay, this is how you can do, and you don't need any technical coding or anything. All you do is create the file, generate the file, load it to the applications, and upload it and import it. You don't have to write any SQL code or anything else. All you need to do just run the program after preparing the data. Okay, and this is the same approach for all the other objects. If you want to load the items or inventory or purchase or suppliers, everything is the same thing. Clear, guys? Okay. Now, quickly, I'm going to show you reports. You're almost there, right? Okay. So reports, you have two kinds of reports. One is BI, the other one is ODB reports. I'm going to show you quickly ODB. ODB is nothing but Oracle Transaction Business Intelligence, which is nothing but a drag and drop methodology. You don't have to write any SQL code. Okay, bare minimum. All you can do, identify what you want to, what report you want to create, and identify where it is. Now click on this create and analysis. Analysis. Let's say my requirement is I just want to create a purchase order report, purchase order summary report, something like this. Okay. Now what I do, I'm going to create an OTPI report, which is nothing but it's a drag and drop methodology of creating a report, simple report. All right. Just bear with me. This is taking a little bit of time. It's a demo pod. There is something called a subject area, which is like a folder or which is like a options of which are available when you click on it. It ideally gives you an option to drag and drop the fields. Okay. Okay. While this is loading, what I'll do, I'll just quickly show you the BI report. Okay. Now you have two kinds of reports, OTB and BI. Right? So I'm going to click on this data model. Now this will give you an option to write a SQL query to view the data. So I click on the SQL query. In case if you want to check the backend data, right? So all you can do is select star from your underscore headers. All right. Right. Select FSM and click on OK. Click on data view. Now this will give me a data based on the SQL query that I've entered. This is the actual backend tables. Okay. Now you can save this as sample data and you can also create a report out of this. So during the sessions, during the trainings, what we'll do, we'll show you how to create a simple report. How to create a simple report using a BI report. Okay, so let me quickly check. Okay, now it's got. Now see this purchasing real time. I'll just open this subject area. Now this is called as BI, whatever I did, which means I create a SQL query and I generate the output. Then based on that, I'm going to create a report. Now this is a BI report where I don't write any SQL query. What I do, I just click on the fields. Let's say, for example, purchase order header. Okay. And I click on this purchase order number. Okay. Then I'm going to supplier order, sorry, item information. line status. Okay. So now, if I want to search for a supplier, all I can do supplier. Supplier, supplier number. Now, when I click on this result, let me close this. So again, this will display the data only in case if you have access. Okay, so it's not displayed. Let me check for something else. Again, so again to just give an overview. So whatever you've selected, right, based on this system will give you the output. All right. So let me see if I can search for something else. Inventory transactions. Inventory transactions real time. Item name, item description. Transaction source, transaction date, on result. See, simple report. Basically, what you can do, you can just identify the columns and or fields and drag and drop, and it displays the data like this. All right. So this is called as an OTP report, where it displays the data in you know in analysis. Now you can create a report, and you can also do some represent this data in pie charts or anything else. All right. All right. So guys, so this is all about our procurement. Any questions?
Hi, Pramod. This is Salim.
Yes, sir.
Pramod, I am a functional consultant myself, and I'm converting myself from EBS to Fusion, and
Okay.
I'm working in the Fusion for the last 5 years. So
Okay.
basically, I found some difficulty when I'm proceeding with the procurement, specifically procurement module regarding the reporting.
Okay.
So basically, just like other modules, just like fixed asset and cash management and payables, there are a lot of seeded reports which are available into the system. But I don't find any better report for procurement kind of a model. So, do we have some seeded reports which will serve the purpose? Or in OTBI methodology, do we have some kind of industrial templates kind of a thing which are useful for providing our business users?
Okay. To answer your questions now, in cloud, there is nothing like seeded in submit the schedule process. Basic purchase order reports, those are there. But OTPay will give you an opportunity to create your own custom report. There is by default, you don't see anything like that. But in case if you want to create some reports, you can use OTPay reports, right? But again, there are some seeded reports which are available. If you go to the catalog, let me show you that. If you go to the catalogs, right? So in the catalogs, if you go to the custom, There are a bunch of analysis report which are available, which you can do this one. If you go to the subject area, if you go to the catalogs, and the catalog you can see
Pramod,
purchase.
I cannot see the screen.
Okay, 1 second. Let me show. Okay, 1 second. Let me share my screen. All right. All right.
Okay.
So see this. Now, if I go to catalog, then I click on shared folders. Under that, I have procurement. See this procurement. Now, if I click on expand report contents, there are few reports which are available for purchasing. Probably in case if you want to use this purchase agreement. This is not an agreement. Basically, data models are there. Transaction analysis. See, these are all some of the dashboards which are available. If you want to use, basically, again, each customer has a different requirement how they want to do this one. But in case if you want to explore, you can still explore these which are available in your procure sales folder, procurement process, procurement folder. See, let's say for suppliers, basically, if you want to see what is the invoice amount based on the category, invoice price based on the trends, invoice PO price amount by category analysis. If I just open this one, so these are all your seeded out of the box reports, which are nothing but basically, again, if you have a criteria, if you have the data, it will be displayed. But to answer your questions, if you go to the shared folder and procurement, you can see the full reports.
Okay,
Does it answer?
I understand. Just like I've seen these reports, but the problem is actually these are kind of a advanced process reports. I think so, and I am in search of some basic reports, just like total purchase order within the fiscal year and which purchase order is the highest one. Just this kind of. I think so. The OTBI may resolve this issue, but
Correct.
sometimes it will not, and
Correct.
I have to give some reason to the user, just like we need to escalate it with Oracle and anything
Correct.
else.
But again, out of the box seeded basic reports are there, but whatever you're seeing OTP, right? So those are, stands based on the customer feedbacks and all they've created. But if you have a specific requirement, like, physical year, whatever you're saying, right? So these are custom. So ideally, what you can do, you can create a BI or an OTP. Again, OTP sometimes the limitation is in case if you want to join or get some data from different modules, then the joining itself is not available. So you have some issues in terms of joining two subject areas. Then ideally, then you have to go with the BIs.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. All right. Any questions, guys?
Pramod, can you support? Can you demonstrate, just like in purchase order, there is a built-in button, view purchase order. Can we embed over format of purchase order over there?
Meaning,
Just like go into the purchase order, and there is, I think so. It's a button, view PO.
view PO.
Yeah, so there is a standard built-in report when we click on it's a PDF. So can we replace it with our own customized purchase order format?
Yes, you can do that one. So what you can do, you can create your own templates, and that templates you have to embed it, and you have to call that one. Yes, that's available. Because see, most of the times what happens, right? Whenever you create a purchase order, right? Each company will have their own logos and the format itself. Okay. Oracle gives you the seeded out of the box PDF, but if you want to have your own format, business format, you create the template, and that template you have to embed it, and you have to call that in the purchasing document styles. And what system will do, it will display whenever you go to the purchase order based on the business units. Yes, you can do this one.
Okay.
that can be possible because you cannot send Oracle templates, right?
Lastly, Pramod, I want to ask, just like in your demonstration, you have given the insight about the item quantities, just like on hand and what are the consumption, and there is a mid-tier inbound quantities. What are those?
Material inbound quantities is nothing but anything that you're expecting which needs to be received. Okay, let's say for example, I'll give an example. Okay, now let's say for example, you requested a material from a different warehouse, and you create a request, maybe intra transfers or transponder, and they shipped it, and the other organization is expected to receive it. Okay, which is in transit. But when you go to manage item quantities, you see inbound, you will see that as part of inbound, which is yet to receive, which is in the process. It's based on the shipment number. Does that answer your question? Salim, does it answer your question?
Pramod, just like between the two organizations, just you said that just quantities coming from another to organization A to B and not hitting the receiving dock and the receiving inventory, but in the process of receiving. So that is the transition quantities which is
Correct.
expecting.
Correct. So let's say, for example, A and B. Let's say A is shipping the material, B is receiving the material, and A already shipped the material, and A is expecting that B should receive it manually in the warehouse. So there will be a shipment number which will be generated in this scenario when you do the intra transfer transporters, and when we navigate to the application, when they search item quantities, what system will do when they go to inbound, it will tell you that there is a shipment number that is available and it is expecting that so and so quantities as part of the inbound.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Right. So unless you receive it, that will be not part of your stock. That is still in transit, right? It is expected to receive, which is nothing but which is in transit. Once
Okay.
you get it done, that will be an actual on quantities. Okay. Any more questions, sir?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your time. Okay, I'll end the session. Again, feel free in case if you still have any questions, then you can talk to the admin and we'll take it from there.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.